Assalamu alaikum and good day to everyone. Greetings on the occasion of World Ocean Day. Today, Small Islands Geographic Society is hosting this event to launch the HOME project. Sustainability Begins at Home, Helping Our Marine Environment is a project funded by USAID's Clean Cities Blue Ocean program. I would like to now invite the Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Technology, Ms. Khadija Nasim, to address us.
Good afternoon, everyone, and greetings to you all on World Oceans Day. I would like to thank the Small Island Geographic Society for inviting me to the Inception workshop of the HOME project in partnership with the USAID Clean Cities Blue Ocean Grant to phase out single-use plastics. The government's initiative to phase out single-use plastics came into force just a week ago on June 1st. One of the biggest objectives of this phase out is to reduce the amount of plastics pollution in our ocean, in addition to the whole host of negative effects of plastics. According to a recent study by the ADB, 20,000 tons of plastic waste is produced in the Maldives annually. And out of this number, only 5% is recycled. We all know where a lot of the plastics end up. We find them scattered on our beaches, floating in the oceans, and sometimes they end up even in the fish we eat. Therefore, marine plastic pollution is also a significant concern for the Maldives. This year's Oceans Day theme is the ocean life and livelihoods. The livelihoods and way of Maldivians depend almost entirely on our oceans, and therefore it is of utmost importance for the government to keep our oceans free of plastic waste and sustain the rich marine life of our waters. For a country like us, the problem of plastics cannot be resolved without a long-term systematic solution. The government strategic action plan recognizes waste management as one of the most important policies that needs to be urgently addressed. In addition, the government had announced the ambitious target of phasing out single-use plastics by 2023, and it remains as one of our top priorities. A single-use plastic phase-out committee convened by the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Technology has produced a plastic phase-out plan through extensive public consultations. The plan addresses the phase-out of the production, import, and consumption of certain single-use plastics into the Maldives and also promote the use of sustainable alternatives. Therefore, I would like to note how timely and necessary initiatives such as the HOME project is in making the government single-use plastics ban policy a success. While the government sets a legal and regulatory frameworks along with these policies, active citizen participation and long-term sustained behavioral change is key in reducing our plastic consumptions. However, reducing single-use plastics is only viable and realistic if alternatives to these products are available as well. HOME project complements the two policy instruments of promoting education and awareness on SUPs, along with the introduction of alternatives. Education, awareness, and using multimedia platforms to run a campaign all increase the public visibility of an issue, which can influence our behavior. People are more likely to change their behavior when they feel empowered and feel that their decisions can have an impact on the problem. HOME Project's initiative to showcase the household's journeys also provides a great opportunity for businesses that provide alternatives to plastics and organizations that could further expand the reach of the awareness campaigns. And this is exactly the kind of push we need to give our community in moving into taking action on our environmental footprint, preserving our ecosystems, and taking care of our health. So I really hope that HOME Project inspires more households to embrace alternatives to plastics and boost especially small and medium businesses and women-led establishments in providing alternatives. I look forward to seeing the results of this project, and I'm hopeful of the opportunities this project will open up in minimizing the consumption of single-use plastics. And I would like to thank this opportunity to extend the ministry's full support for the implementation of the project. And I look forward to working together in realizing our collective goals in minimizing the use of single-use plastics. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. The idea for the HOME project is being made a reality through the funding from the USAID's Clean Cities Blue Ocean program. We are very pleased to have joining with us today the Mission Director for USAID, Mr. Reed Ashleman, and from the USAID's CCBO program, the Country Director for Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Ms. Nilanka Vijayanake. Let me first invite Mr. Ashleman to address this event. Mr. Ashleman.
Deputy Minister, Ministry of Environment, Khadija Nasim, distinguished guests, colleagues, partners. It's an honor to join you today to celebrate World Oceans Day and announce the first grant award from the USAID Clean Cities Blue Ocean program in the Maldives. I'm very happy to announce that this inaugural grant is awarded to a local Maldivian organization, the Small Island Geographic Society, and it will address plastic waste by encouraging individuals, households, and communities to adopt more sustainable ways to consume and manage this waste to avert ocean pollution. I had wanted to obviously be in Mali today to announce this grant in person, but regardless of the venue, I am taking this opportunity to acknowledge this achievement with you on World Oceans Day. On this day, I think the whole world reflects on the ocean's importance to communities all around the globe. And globally, the ocean, of course, is home to tremendous biodiversity and is the main source of protein for more than 1 billion people around the world. The ocean produces at least 50% of the planet's oxygen and has a very critical role to play in the fight against climate crisis. And I know that especially in the Maldives, the ocean is central to everything that you do every day. The World Ocean Day gives you and your leaders and neighbors the opportunity to reflect on the roles that you can each play in your homes, in your communities, your businesses, and your shorelines toward protecting and restoring the marine environment. So all of us have a role to play in changing behaviors that harm the environment, be it littering, burning, improperly disposing of trash, or damaging our natural resources. We've all seen the terrible news regarding the tragic environmental disaster caused by the Express Pearl ship. But likewise, we've all heard stories about individuals, communities, and government entities coming forward to help with the cleanup. We each have the capacity to come together, to help together and to develop solutions and implement systems and technologies that can protect and restore the world's ecosystems. So USAID's Clean Cities, Blue Oceans program is one avenue through which we are trying to do just this. Around the world, this program works to avert the irreparable damage that plastic waste inflicts on one of our planet's most vital resources, our vast oceans. Through partnerships with global, regional, national, and most importantly, local stakeholders, this program is providing grants to organizations to implement and test locally and relevant sustainable approaches at the local level to reduce ocean plastics. Ideally, these solutions can be shared, they can be built upon, they can be tailored to meet the needs of individual communities, public and private sector actors, as well as waste value chains around the world. So Maldives is one of the several priority countries that is a partner with USAID's Clean Cities Blue Ocean program. This partnership will help identify and implement innovative solutions that reduce ocean plastic waste and protect our oceans. So it's great to have Maldives as one of our priority partners in this endeavor. It's estimated that 300 metric tons of solid waste is generated annually in the Maldives, of which more than 50% is generated from urban areas around the greater Mali region. As an island nation, Maldives faces, of course, unique challenges in managing its waste. Across the country, limited access to public waste collection services results in waste leakage into communities, beaches, and the ocean. But by making simple adjustments and through innovation, how we manage our daily waste, we can all together create visible, meaningful change. The ocean covers over 70% of the planet. In Maldives, ocean and marine environments comprise 99% of the country's area. It's your life sources and supports your livelihoods, your health, food security, economic growth, and overall well-being across your nation. For these reasons and more, I am very proud to extend my congratulations on behalf of the U.S. government to the Small Island Geographic Society and its partners for the launch of this activity. As I noted on World Oceans Day, we honor the importance of our oceans and recognize the urgency of protecting them. Through its partnership with USAID, the Small Island Geographic Society will act on this urgency by combating sources of ocean plastic pollution and empowering individuals and communities as agents for solutions to combat ocean plastic pollution. And Small Island Geographic Society will act on this urgency by informing consumers about ways they can change their behavior to reduce their footprint and nurture low waste, sustainable households, especially in communities in the greater Mali region. It is very encouraging, I must say, to see the Maldivian government act on this urgency by strengthening solid waste management and working to phase out single-use plastics. Small Island Geographic Society and its local government and community partners will augment these important government initiatives by repurposing urban waste systems and brainstorming on other ways to stem the tide of plastics entering our environments and oceans. So I strongly believe that successful development initiatives are achieved through national as well as local coordination, enduring partnerships, community engagement, and particularly localized solutions. So on behalf of USAID, USAID is proud to work with you on the critical issue of ocean plastics pollution, and we look forward to the day when plastics are no longer a threat to our oceans and marine ecosystems. I appreciate the partnership and I appreciate your dedication to this cause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ashman, for your remarks and encouragement. May I now invite Ms. Nilanka Vijayanathan, the USAID's CCBO Program Country Director for Sri Lanka and the Maldives, to address us. Ms. Nilanka.
Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for being a part of this exciting event to launch Small Island Geographic Society Sustainability Begins at Home project, funded by USAID Clean Cities Blue Ocean Program. Let me first extend my thanks to the National Government of Maldives, as well as to our local government partners for their support at the outset of this exciting new journey together. We are honored to support Maldives' national plans and the commitment towards reduced ocean plastic pollution. And we look forward to making lasting, measurable change together over the next 3 years. As part of this journey, we are thrilled and honored to be launching partnership today with an inspiring organization. So before announcing this exciting new grant, CCBO's first in the country, I would like to share a bit about CCBO's mission and our local objectives. CCBO was launched in 2019 as a 5-year program working across 7 focal countries. At the heart of the program is our goal to prevent further ocean plastic pollution, working to address primary source of pollution in rapidly urbanizing cities. We know that by increasing the adaptation of 3 Rs, reduce, reuse, and recycling, and by improving the local solid waste management systems, we can stop the flow of plastic and other waste to rivers, bays, and ultimately to the ocean. To achieve our program objectives, we work together with national and local governments, NGO members of the private sector, and community members to develop and pilot both innovative and trusted solutions that are tailored to each local city's environment, challenges, and needs. CCBO's approach and challenge of preventing ocean plastics through a holistic 5-component approach, recognizing that multiple areas must be addressed to build sustainable, enabling environments, and transition from linear to circular economies. In Maldives, CCBO is applying this approach in selected engagement sites to test and scale innovative solutions. For this program, we have selected Male as our priority engagement site due to the urban, population, and industrial centers with significant potential to adopt and demonstrate replicable approaches. As USAID program, we believe strongly in building change through locally led solutions, designed, implemented, and led by the local experts and community leaders. Today, we are pleased to announce the awards of CCBO's first grant in Maldives to an impressive organization. So let me congratulate Small Islands Geographic Society as they launch their project today. We look forward to working with you to develop and advance systems to stem the waves of plastic waste in ocean. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nilanka, for your continuous support in this project. Now we will share a short video about the CCBO program.
The rising tide of ocean plastic pollution is creating a challenge for the world's environment and for the millions of people who depend on the ocean for their livelihoods. The most pressing challenge comes from rapidly growing cities in the developing world. There, surging populations, poor infrastructure, and rising incomes contribute to more discarded plastic than local waste management systems can handle. This mismanaged waste gets into waterways and eventually the ocean. USAID is leading the US government's response to this urgent challenge in developing countries through partnerships and programs like our flagship Clean Cities Blue Ocean program. We are working to improve solid waste management and expand the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. We work with local and national governments, waste collectors, civil society groups, and businesses. We strengthen the efficiency and the financial sustainability of the entire waste management system. We protect and empower vulnerable waste workers. How do we do this? Through technical assistance to local governments, grants to local organizations, and new partnerships with key groups like schools, women's organizations, and youth groups to promote behavior change towards the 3 R's. Together, we can turn the tide on ocean plastic pollution.
Next, our project coordinator, Ms. Muhammad, will share a short presentation about the HOME project.
So just before starting, as Mifa mentioned, please write your comments or questions in the chat box. And please write your name and organization so we will know who has made the comments or questions. Okay, as we celebrate World Oceans Day, I would like to extend my greetings on the day to all participants. So the HOME project, which is funded by the USAID's Clean Cities Blue Oceans program, is a project implemented by SIGS with the objective of bringing out behavior and social change through engagements with households to reduce their use of single-use plastics. The 18-month project, which is valued at 2.3 million Maldivian rupiah, is going to be implemented in Hulumale. As we celebrate World Ocean Day, we are facing many issues of plastic pollution, of which single-use plastics is a significant culprit. And this is especially significant for Maldives, where 99% of our country is the ocean. And this is some stats we came across while we were developing our project document, and it was very significant for us to see that there has been almost a triple increase in plastic bags. So these are the single-use plastics which we import into the country. So in the last 10 or so, it's increased 3 times. So it's alarming because it shows the trend is increasing, and all the more because it spells out to us a problem that will continue to get bigger until we do something about it. But the good news, and these are some other, it's not just this plastic, but we have many other single-use plastics that in our everyday life. But the good news is the government at the national level is doing something about it. And these are the policies for the phase out of single-use plastic by 2023. And of these policies, we are hoping that the HOME project will be contributing to the 2 policies, one on education and awareness, and the other strategies for sustainable provision of alternatives. So now I will show you the project, the theory of change for the HOME project. So the HOME project will be identifying the current types of SUPs used in households and work with households to trial alternatives to these products. Now, why have we chosen household level? So we were wondering on awareness and education, and how really, though, how much we know about the bad impacts of single-use plastics and how we need to change. Behavior change is really difficult, and a main reason for that may be that we may be treating individuals in isolation, but in reality they are they don't exist in isolation, but in relation to other people and the rest of the community. So that's why we thought to address this problem, we should address it as a not as an individual, but as a community unit, and the household is the smallest such unit in the community. So that's why we have targeted households for this project. So through our work with households, we hope to inform behavior change issues that can support the work of the government, businesses, and others working in this area. So now I will go to the activities of the HOME project. So basically we have identified 3 main components. The first is to understand the SUP usage at the households, and which will then, so the first component will lead to the second component, which is the engagement with households to encourage them to use alternatives. And from that, we will work on dissemination to public about using alternatives to single-use plastic. So I will go into the details of these 3 components. The first, where we are looking at understanding SUP usage in the household. So this is in the project, we have identified 2 activities for this. One is weight survey of 255 households in Hulumale. So basically, we are trying to understand the types of single-use plastics used in the households, as well as the amounts, and also to understand solid waste management, how it's practiced in the households, and also to see how much households understand the impacts of single-use plastics, how much they are aware about the government's policies and activities on phasing out single-use plastic. So these are, among other things, information which we will be collecting to support our design of the second phase of the project. And in addition to this, we are going to be selecting 12 households, which we will be engaging with over a long period of time. So these 12 households, we will do a waste audit to see to actually the amount of waste they create daily in the household. So what % of this includes single-use plastics and what are these type of plastics? So we will be able to capture anything that may have been missed out in the survey questionnaire. So both of these, we will be the findings of these activities we will be using to design the second phase, as well as informing businesses. So in this project, we plan to engage with businesses so that they can provide alternatives for people to use. And for example, let's say from the survey, we can give an estimate of how much demand there may be for, say, single-use plastic items. And that can maybe, by sharing that information, we can create more interest in businesses to provide this in the markets. So now I will go to the second activity, which is engaging with the 12 households we have selected, and we call this part Living Without Plastic Journeys. So in this part, we want to work with the members of each household and take them on a journey to live without plastic. So from the first component, when we have identified the types of single-use plastics that are used, so we will select some of the most frequently used ones, and then ask the household members to try out alternatives. And in this phase, we know there are many among you. Even today, we have some NGOs and individuals who have been working on single-use plastics on different types. So we hope we can get your support to engage with the households as resource people to show them the alternatives, answer their questions, and help them through the journey. So what we want to do is capture what are the challenges they face when they are trying to implement. So their journey will be documented through journals kept by the members, as well as by regular interviews and interactions the research team will be having with them. And so these we hope can be so we hope that through this, we can get an understanding of the real life challenges that people face. Sometimes just knowing that this is not a good thing to do, but how do we actually change? That may be a bigger challenge for everyday people to start. But when we know their challenges, we can try to help them as well. And so this activity we are planning to be, which will lead on to the next activity, which is a reality series. We in the community awareness and engagement component. So we have to capture the journeys that the 12 households take and produce a mini series and broadcast it as a reality series to the public. So through that, we hope to have others engaged in this, maybe take out some of the fear from the people of whether they can actually do this. So maybe some might identify with different characters in the series and how the difficulties they are facing. And overall, we want to encourage more viewers to start their own journeys. And so that will be part of the awareness activities included in this project. And in addition, we want to have an interactive platform where people who watch the series can interact with the SIGS team or the households, as well as other individuals, businesses. So we want to create a sort of a community where people who are doing something relevant to phasing out SUPs can work together. So this platform can be a source of information for someone who wants to start a journey, or someone who wants to share ideas. Throughout the development of this project, I've been surprised when talking to people. There are a lot of creative people who are already doing many things. Even if there aren't alternatives in the market, they create their own alternatives. So in that way, we are hoping through more interaction, we can broaden the possibilities. And so that's the three components and the activities of the project. And we hope the outputs from these will be useful to support the government's SUP phase out strategy, and also for others who are working on this, maybe these findings will be useful. So that's it about the project. And I will now be going on to the question and discussion. So please remember to use the chat. And before we go on, I have some questions from SIGS. We hope that through these discussions, we will get to know what you think of our project, what are some of the work that you are doing that we can probably build collaborative partnerships, and how can we work with you on these things. So those are some of the things I hope we can get out of this discussion. And of course, you are also welcome to ask questions about the project. And we have a panel today who will be answering questions about the project. So from SIGS, we have Ahmed Jamil, and from the USAID CCBO program, we have Ms. Nilanka, and from the government, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Technology, we have Ms. Suma Muhammad. So thank you for listening, and we will go to the questions and discussions. So if you have any questions or some comments, please type in. So we have one question from Michelle Ahmed. So what are your key focus areas in the Hurumale surveys? So I will ask Ahmed Jamil, AJ, to answer that question.
Thank you. So it's a pleasure to see so much of our colleagues here at this time of the day. Regarding why it's Hurumale, I think as the CCBO have highlighted the key focus of this program is on Greater Male area, including Hurumale. So when we were initially discussing about this project, we felt that it would be good to focus on Hurumale for a number of reasons. The key reason is that in Hurumale we have different kind of houses there, and also in terms of collection, it's much easier to do collection in Hurumale. So that's the key reason why we focused on Hurumale.
AJ, that was a second question. The first question was, what are the key components of the household survey in Hurumale?
During as Mizna has highlighted, the initial survey will have two. The survey will have two phases. One is on a broader, focusing on 255 houses. So it will cover the areas of generally to understand the existing practice of waste management, and also try to capture the socio-economic profile of the houses, and also um, and and uh, and then try to quantify the waste, and also identify the single-use plastics. So these will help us to understand the profile of waste, and then as the whole project is on behavioral changes, the interventions will have a impact on the profile of the household. So these informations would be collected. Currently, we are in the designing phase of this survey. So any suggestions, comments from this event also will be helpful for us to as we go into this into this activity. Thank you.
We have another question from Musa Zamir. Well, also part comment, he's very happy to see the initiative in the urban communities, but the comment is, in the longer term, we would like to see that the island communities get some hands-on support to establish such a system in the islands, which we require early intervention due to the magnitude of the problem excavated by lack of resources and awareness. And the question is, how would these islands be supported through the project?
Maybe I could say something first. I think from the project that we are in now, we will be able to get a lot of information. So it will be help. So the whole idea of the project is to create information and data, and to facilitate evidence-based approach. So we are trying to facilitate or assist the implementation of single-use plastic phasing out. So I think as we heading into this implementation of the strategy, this will help in the implementation. So I think so, especially in the important part of the identification and introduction of alternatives. So these will be help, and also bringing the businesses into making the alternatives more affordable and accessible will help the island communities. So I think from that particular angle, the project, and also the kind of collaboration and the networks that we'll be able to create will help facilitate that.
Thank you, Ajay. So we have another question from Ahmad Mamoon from MOPA. The question is it something we can replicate in an island if an NGO takes ownership together with an island council to do this in an island? So I think, AJ, you are being asked all the questions.
I think the ministry from the ministry also can say something. I think at this stage we are looking into a lot of alternatives. So one of the key things that we have been looking in is one. Now as we look into the household, we know that on many households, significant of SUPs is from water bottles, or replacing introduction of alternatives for potable water, drinking water would really reduce a significant amount of single-use plastics. I mean, that is one area. Then there are other areas that we can identify and then move. I think this will be the way to go.
Thank you, Ajay. And I will also just add into that a little. Maybe the work we are undertaking can be used as a pilot, and if any NGO wants to implement similar thing, we can share our experiences and also support them from what we have learned while implementing the project. And we have a question from Muttasim. What kind of contingency measures are being taken since this project is taking place during COVID-19 pandemic? AJ?
Yeah, since we started developing the project from last year, we were in the COVID situation. So still we are in, but hopefully we'll be. The situation is improving, and hopefully in next couple of months, most of our population would be vaccinated, and then we will be moving into a more livable new normal period. Nevertheless, we will be having a lot of challenges. So our work, especially when we do the waste surveys, we have to follow the HPA guidelines. So this kind of restrictions are there, but however, we will try to move forward with these challenges. So I think we will be okay, because things are better than when we started last year.
Yeah, and I will also add on to that again. And we are planning to sort of plan the project around where we can do more desk work and planning work during the more restrictive periods, and hopefully go on to the more contact with other households during the when the restrictions are less. And even with that, we will be planning to keep things as safe as possible. If needed, go from in-person interviews to phone interviews or those kind of things. So we will be using a very keeping a safer safety of the participants as well as the project staff in mind when we implement. So the next question is from Aisha. Thank you, Aisha, for the encouragement. Her question is, what are the plans to engage and collaborate with existing micro social enterprises, small businesses that have started providing alternatives to single-use plastic products?
I think the small businesses who are working in this area of providing alternatives for single-use plastic will be an important partner in this project, and then we will try to bring them on board. And so the project feels that it's an important way to bring mainstream these businesses in a way to introduce these alternatives to the household. So we'll have a lot of opportunities. So we have the project has these businesses forums where we'll bring these businesses, and also through the realistic series we'll be able to showcase. So I think it's a quite we are looking forward to bring the businesses, because to really successfully implement phasing out single-use plastic, it's that the businesses need to be aware of and then bringing them on board will be a way to move forward.
Hello, Misna. This is Nilanka from CCBO. If I can just add a bit to what the AJ was mentioning. Apart from what he mentions as CCBO program, this is a 5-year flagship program mainly to test and try out innovative solutions to address the plastic pollution. So as CCBO, we are working in 2 approaches here. One is through the grants that we award, where we encourage collaboration and we encourage to work out with the other private sector, or it could be social enterprises or micro enterprises. Apart from that, as a CCBO program, we also directly would work with the private sector as well as the micro enterprises to see the innovative solutions that can be recommended, where we also would like to work with them to see and research and also to make recommendations on some of those areas, as well as to work with them on hello,
Yeah.
can you hear me properly now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so what I was explaining was that CCBO program has two way approaches to work with the, whether it's the micro enterprise or with the private sector. One is that we work through the grants, where we encourage collaboration and where we encourage the grantees to work with some of the private sector or micro enterprises. But apart from that, CCBO program also would be directly working with the organizations who would be working, especially working on upcycling or reuse products or recycling products. CCBO, like we have 4 objectives. First objective is that while we promote the 3R, we also look into the market aspect of it. So where we can facilitate or where we can work with those entities to promote the market, this is one area that we would be working, or it could be also to research and to support initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next question is from Aki. The question is, during COVID-19, consumption levels will be very different in households. Are you taking this into consideration?
Do you want to answer?
Maybe I can add. Yeah, I totally agree that it will be different, but how much different we will know when we are implementing the surveys and when we get the responses. But on a general note, in a household, it probably will be the same daily activities are going on. Maybe the amounts may be different, so we will have to be aware of that and make note of that during the data collection and analysis. Thank you. That's a very good thing to remind us. So next is a question from Dr. Mariam Shakila. So her question is, what do you foresee as your biggest challenge as the global battle cry intensifies in the war against waste plastic? How do you plan to address the realities of doubling down on eradicating single-use plastic from the supply chain?
Yeah, I'll try to answer, and then Mizu, you can add what I said. I think the whole project is focusing on the behavioral change, which is what we see as one of the biggest barriers for phasing out of the single plastic. At households, the demand creates the market for such single-use plastic. So if we can reduce the demand, that will help to try to reduce the single-use plastic use. So that is the key element that we are trying to address in this project, is to focus on the behavioral change. So that's the reason we are going into the households to see how we can reduce. So we are trying to document the change through the journals and the reality series. So we are expecting to see that there will be a lot of difficulties. So we'll be using 12 households. So the reason we went from 10 to 12 households is also to reduce the risk that even if 1 or 2 households drops out from our research phase, that we'll be still able to continue the project.
It's just that while, as AJ said, we are trying to work with the household, so and create behavior change, and that's probably that's the source of the where single-use plastic is being used. And while this will be helping to reduce the amount of single-use plastics generated, we are hoping with the engagement with businesses, there will be more businesses interested to provide alternatives in the market. So while one door closes, maybe we can show businesses the possibility that there are many doors that can be opened. So I think that's also one way this project is contributing, and we probably will not be solving the problem, but we hope to contribute in some way. And from No Plastics Maldives, so thank you for your support. They've sent us a comment about collaboration. And then Michelle, again, we have a question. How will solutions and alternatives be suggested to the households within the project? And what are your first impressions on how this endeavor will be received by the larger community? AJ, can I answer?
Yeah, you go for it.
So the plan is we want to engage with, so we will visit the households if the COVID permits, and so either through online or directly by engaging with them. We hope to share with them first, like we would have identified the main types of single-use plastics. Say if we have plastic bottles, drinking water bottles is one source. So we would work with them on a way to ask them to use an alternative. So at the same time, we will be working with providers of alternatives. So depending on what the household may want to choose. So it's not, we will be giving them the alternatives and suggesting this, and it will be very much up to the individuals if they want to actually try and test this out. So even that itself, if someone doesn't want to try something, that's an indicator for us that maybe this is an item which we will need much work and so much more harder to convince people. So those are also going to be our findings. And during these engagements, we have groups like Max has been working on single-use plastics and the plastic bags. They have a lot of knowledge about I think through their work, what kinds of bags people like, and we hope we can get them involved when we are going to households to discuss alternatives to the plastic bags. And so there are a lot of groups who are already working on these things, and as resource people, we want to engage as many people as possible and work with the households. And how it will be received by the larger community, I hope it will be positive, or at least people will, at the bare minimum, we hope people will start thinking about it and not in a way that this is something impossible. So even if I try and make one little change, that it can be a big impact. So you just have to take the first step. So I think we are probably encouraging community to take that first step, and so I hope that's how it will be received. Hope that is answered. So we will go to the from Mahil, what kind of support is the government providing in this project? So Suma, would you like to?
We will be providing, we will be having a seat in the technical committee of the advisory board that you are making, and then we'll be providing any of the technical assistance you require.
Thank
I
you.
think Miss Mizu, you can add to it.
Yes, we have already been in touch with the Waste Department of the ministry, and they are very willing to support us. And yes, as Suma mentioned, we are going to be creating a small technical advisory committee, and we have and the government has accepted to be part of that in that role, so that our work can be aligned with the work of the government. And we have a comment from Afra. I don't agree that behavioral change is the biggest challenge to single-use plastic use in the Maldives. Lack of a holistic waste management strategy or plan is our biggest challenge. A lot of problem single-use plastics can be controlled at the import level, and with the policy instruments such as EPR and PPP, this behavioral change is a narrative that I feel is pushed so that businesses that import and dump the problem packaging into the country to claim that there is a demand and a need to supply these items. I believe this is a misguided approach at reduction. Farudi Zimma will not solve the SUP problem. Brave policies and creative implementation will. Thank you, Afra, for sharing your view, and I think you add on to a big challenge as well. And for us, for this project, we are not claiming that by addressing behavior change, it will solve the problems. For us, it's more something to complement the policies. So thank you for that, your comment. So I think we've had quite a good discussion today, and we are very grateful for all of you for joining this session, and it has been an encouragement. We will be sharing a Google form with you all. And so that is in case we have not been able to hear from any of you, or there's more comments to make. So the Google form, and we will email you the Google form as well. This is so you can give us your details and share with us if you want to collaborate on this project, or share any work that you are currently doing. So that would be very helpful for us, and that would be a way for us to stay in touch as well. To that, can we take a small virtual photograph? So if everyone can turn on their cameras for a short while, so we can take a screenshot. Okay, so thank you all. And before concluding, I want to thank a few people. So first, all of you who came today, so thank you for your participation and encouragement. And I want to thank Ms. Hadija Nasim from the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Technology, and all her colleagues who have participated, and unfortunately some who were not able to join. Thank you for your support. And from the USAID Mission NCCBO team, thank you so much for your encouragement and this opportunity. And I want to, I hope I don't miss out anybody, but I want to especially note from the CCBO, Amy, Jess, and Lori, who was very helpful during our project formulation and making us come this far. And from the Sri Lanka and Maldives country team, Nilanka, Duma, and your team, I think you've been giving us lots of support for implementing this, and I'm very confident, we all are at SIGS, that we will have a good partnership. And also thank you to the team at SIGS. You've all been a wonderful group of people to work with. So thank you all again for joining. And please use the Google form to let us know if you are interested to collaborate with us. Thank you.